Hi everybody, this is Duke with a quick video on ExpressLRS related to Ardupilot. Okay, so let's using ExpressLRS this semester with your quadcopters. We'll have a little bit different setup, just slightly, to those who are not using ExpressLRS. Okay, and that is due to the fact that ExpressLRS requires you to have channel 5 or auxiliary channel 1 as an ARM channel. Okay, so you need to arm it or turn it on before you fly any type of ExpressLRS vehicle or vehicle with an ExpressLRS receiver. Okay, what that means is we need to have some kind of a switch, most likely, that we flip on before we fly the copter or the plane or whatever it is you're controlling. Okay, in this case, we're talking about quadcopters. The reason for that is it enables a lot of the special features of ExpressLRS to work correctly once the receiver knows that it's quote unquote armed. Okay. The difficulty is that Ardupilot thinks that channel 5 or auxiliary 1 is the flight mode channel by default. Now this isn't a big issue, but it's something you need to set up, and so I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. Okay. First, we're going to go to our model in our transmitter. Okay, we're going to click on, we're going to have our model up that we're going to use for the quadcopter. We're going to select model here on the right hand side, and we're going to go page over. This page numbers here till we get to mixes. Okay. We're going to scroll down to channel 5, and we're going to select that with our scroll wheel. Okay, and it will go in here and say mix name, source, and a bunch of other stuff. Okay, for mix name, you don't have to name it if you don't want to. It'll help you remember things later, but for now, I'm just going to leave it blank. For my source, though, I'm going to select source by clicking on the scroll wheel. It's going to start blinking. Okay, now this is allowing me to say which switch or button or whatever do you want to control channel 5. Okay. I'm going to recommend a switch for this because you can flip the switch and you're armed, and flip the switch off and you're disarmed. Okay. Once it's blinking, I can just flip a switch. I prefer to use my left-handed switch up here on the shoulder of the transmitter, so I'm going to flip that. Okay. And we'll see it change that to SE. Maybe a little bit hard for you to see once I flipped it because this switch is E. Okay. And that's all I have to do to assign that switch to that channel. Press return once, press return again, all the way back out to the main screen. Okay, and now if we page over here, we can get some of these little telemetry screens. One of them is going to be a channel monitor. And if I flip my switch, now we see channel 5 goes low and goes high. Okay, on and off. There's a middle position too, but we don't need to worry about that for right now. Okay, so that's all the setup I need to do on my transmitter for that arming switch to be on channel 5. Okay. Now, like I said, Ardupilot expects there to be a channel to control flight modes. And in this class, we use altitude hold flight mode and stabilized flight mode. So you do need to be able to change modes when you're doing those flights. Okay. So it's a very similar process. We're going to go and set another switch to control our flight modes. Okay. I like to use this switch here for my flight modes, or you could use this one back here, but I try to keep it separate from my arm switch over on this side. Okay. So same process. We're going to go into the model menu. Oops, wrong way. Then we're going to go page over till we get to the mixer, or mixes, sorry. And we're going to go down. I'm going to use channel 8 for my flight modes. You can really use almost any channel you want besides 1 through 5, but I'm going to select 8 here. I'm going to go to the source, okay. Again, I'm going to select that so it's blinking, and then I'll flip my switch. Okay. And we see that it's selected SC. Perfect. I'm going to hit return once. Okay, return back out, all the way back out to the main screen of your transmitter. If we page over till we get to that telemetry or channel monitor screen, sorry, we can now see channel 5 with my arm switch, just like we did before. Then we have channel 8 with my flight mode switch. Okay, perfect. That's our transmitter setup. Now let's flip over, to Mission Planner. And turn this off. There we go. Okay, so you open up Mission Planner, connect to your copter, and you want to make sure these settings are configured correctly. So we're going to go into our config tab right here. Okay, and we're going to search for a couple parameters. All right, the first one is your flight mode. So we're going to search FLT MODE underscore CH for channel. Okay, you see I've already changed this one right here. This is the channel that Ardupilot listens to in order for you to change flight modes while you're flying, or change flight modes from your transmitter. The default is 5. We can't use 5 because we're using that for arming our copter. So we want to tell Ardupilot, hey, listen to channel 8 instead. Yours will still be set at the default, so yours would say 5. And you can see you can just go into that box, start typing in kind of like an Excel spreadsheet, and we'll just change it to 8, which we want to make sure 8 does correspond to 8, which it does in this case over here. the number 8 will mean channel 8 is what it's going to listen to. So we'll set that and we'll hit write params. Okay, perfect. Now it knows to listen to channel 8, our flight mode channel, for flight mode changes. The other one we want to do is we want to set channel 5 to our arm switch. Okay, so it's not only going to arm the receiver, but what I recommend is having it also arm the aircraft. All right, the default arm for Ardupilot, so let me go back to this real quick, is actually a stick arm where you hold the stick in for about 5 seconds and it will arm the aircraft. And when you land, you hold it this way for 5 seconds and it will disarm the aircraft. Okay, but sometimes it's I would imagine, I guess might be hard to remember to flip the switch up here and then arm this way. You can totally do that if you want to, or you can consolidate it into one switch. You just flip the switch to arm your receiver and actually arm the aircraft all in one control. It's up to you, but I'm going to show you how to set the arm command to just obey this one switch all together instead of having to flip the switch and arm on the stick. Okay, some people might prefer that, to have like a two-stage arming. Okay, but it's up to you. All right. If you want to do a arm all on one switch without having to mess with the rudder to arm, okay, this is how you'll do it. Let's go back here. There we go. Okay. If we go to RC5 underscore option, okay, as the search bar here, we see RC5 options. This is saying, what is channel 5 going to do when I flip the channel 5 switch? Okay. And if you look down here, way down the bottom, it's not in alphabetical order or anything. Option 153, arm and disarm 4.2 and higher. So it's saying Ardupilot version 4.2 and higher, which you all have on your copters. We're going to set it to 153. So I'm going to go ahead and type in this square here, 153. Then I'm going to go ahead and write params, and we'll get that param saved. Now it knows when I flip the switch to high or to on, it should arm the aircraft. So we're arming the receiver with ExpressLRS. We're also arming the aircraft at the same time. Okay. If you don't want to use the switch to arm everything, don't set this to 153. Leave it at 0. Okay. That should take care of all you need with the ExpressLRS specific setup, is basically getting those channels and switches configured. Okay. Again, if you're watching this video, you're like totally confused because you're not using ExpressLRS, you don't need this video. Just use the channels as normal. We don't have to have a special ARM channel for non-ExpressLRS transmitters and receivers. Hopefully this is helpful. Thanks.